So the first preseason game is, well, technically, it's the second preseason game because we played Leeds. But this is the first preseason game of this summer series in America. Anyway, United winning 2-1. Goals, 2 of them, a win. I'll tell you what, United played pretty well in that game. All right, I'm going to run through who my man of the match was, how United played. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Who did you enjoy watching the most? Look, Bruno was the man who came up with both goals for United. I don't know what Areola was doing for the penalty he conceded that Bruno scored. I also don't know what barber he went to because his haircut is absolutely wild. Anyway, he decided to take heaven down. Bruno slid it away. Beautiful. Second goal, a wonderful finish. Mainu winning the ball high up the pitch. Bruno, lovely goal into the corner. But I think the thing that if I was going to take one main overall takeaway from that game, United's pace was pretty relentless, I would say. We won the ball in West Ham's half somewhere between 10, it feels like between 10 and 20 times. West Ham, they were pretty crap. Understand that. It's preseason. No one's going to say it. It's the marker of everything. But in what was our first preseason game, I thought it was pretty good that all the players played 70 minutes. I think it's a pretty good indication of fitness. And for the second game in a row, I'm watching Cunha and I'm going, yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing. I'm liking what I'm seeing. I'm liking the difference you're bringing to the team. I'm liking his energy. I'm liking his aggression. And when we signed Cunha, I don't know whether it just came out after we signed Cunha, but I think it did. Sort of like Cunha has walked the most in the Premier League last season. It's like, first of all, I've never seen that being said about any other signing that any other club has ever made. Anyway, show me somewhere where Cunha was walking there against West Ham. Every time he didn't have the ball, he was pressing down. And United actually pressed as a collective and a unit. We were squeezing up the pitch. Probably the one time we didn't was West Ham's goal. The ball was played through Ugarte and Mainu, who were pressing hard up the pitch, so it wasn't supported really by Heaven Delict and Yoro. They stayed a little bit too deep, too much space in between the lines. Susek ran forward. It was a pretty good goal by Bowen. But Cunha. So something I enjoyed about Cunha there in that game was Cunha and Bruno kind of switched sides. Sometimes he was playing on the left, sometimes playing on the right. And you can feel that that's probably going to happen quite a lot this season. I haven't actually got a picture of Upper here, so I'm not actually going to speak about him too much. But I actually thought Højlund, off the ball, pretty good. On the ball, nearly got a goal very early on, but didn't quite. But I think overall it's a pretty decent game. Bruno coming up with 2 goals. Bruno playing further up the pitch. Man, look, I'll tell you who was probably United's best player in that game was Ugarte. And look, let me quickly speak to you about that, the setup of United in that game. You had Ugarte and you had Mainu as the 2 deeper midfielders. You had Bruno playing further up alongside Cunha as the 2 number 10s with Højlund playing up front. And it worked. United played with a really aggressive front, not like an aggressive Ten Hag like front press, where it was headless chicken, just run after every ball as much as you possibly can and just hope that one of you nicks it. That's what our front press was against under Ten Hag, and it was so easy to play through because it wasn't followed up by a defence that was too scared to stay on the halfway line. That press was pretty damn organised today against West Ham. You had every player was supported by another one, and that's what a good high press does. It squeezes the pitch and it simply makes it smaller so that there isn't really a way to play out of it. And that only really works if your defence is backing up your midfield, if your midfield is backing up your attackers, and you keep those lines nice and tight. And in that style, Ugarte thrives in it. He nearly got a cracking assist. Won the ball, little nutmeg, passes it out to Ahmad, sweeps it in. Ahmad was quite out of that game, really. I don't know whether it was because we were playing heavy down the left-hand side with Dorgu and Cunha, or whether he was just kind of getting squeezed out of the game, but he wasn't really on the ball too much. But then that quality there with the finish from Ahmad, that's what you're going to get from him in that right wing-back position. And Dorgu, look, I'm watching this game, these first 2 games, and I can see people getting excited about Dorgu, but I'm looking at Dorgu going, he's kind of just doing what he was doing last season, but we were all so pissed off and frustrated at what was going on and being 15th, and, don't need to remind you about that nobody really kind of had the energy to talk about it. I think that's all I've seen from Dorgu is him kind of continuing what I saw last season. The promise is there, the potential is there, mate, the athleticism is there, and you might get bored of me saying this, but I'm going to keep pointing it out until it's such a fundamental of this football club and in every single one of these players that there's not really much point in talking about how athletic United look. We do look stronger in the one-on-ones. And look, in terms of how we pressed in that game, including Dorgu in that and Bruno and Cunha, I think United playing once a week is going to really help that. It should help that, right? You saw in that game, it's pre-season, right? It happens anyway. But the pace dropped in the last half an hour. The pace completely changed when we made, how many subs? 10? Well, the whole outfield team, basically, I think. Yeah, it was the entire outfield team. In terms of those players who came on, I mean, there's nothing really to talk about from that last 20 minutes, I'll be totally honest. But I think if I was Ruben Amorim, looking at that game, I think I'm going to be really happy with how United played when that starting 11 was on that pitch. In the second half, probably we took our foot off the gas a little bit, and that's only going to come with time. Pre-season is mainly about fitness. You know that, I know that. But it's good to see the players getting 70 minutes, and it's good to see us operating with a press like that. That's what Amorim wants. I'm telling you, he doesn't want to do it in that Ten Hag headless chicken style, but he wants United to be on the front foot. He wants United to be the aggressor. He wants United to be in control of a game of football. Now, sometimes that may well be passing it around from the back, and I still think in terms of building out from the back, there is a lot that needs to be improved, worked on. I still don't like that centre-back that steps up into midfield to make a double pivot with the two wide centre-backs. We just don't really seem to play through the centre of the pitch well enough when we do that. I liked Kobe there today. Alongside Ugarte, it felt like it was a complementary partnership. And that I think is where I understood the logic of some United fans in suggesting if we sold Bruno Fernandes for 100 million because he can't quite fit him in and you got to play him there and play him there. I still don't know what exactly the best setup is. You know, part of me thinks that there is a chance this season that you could end up seeing Bruno and probably Mbeumo playing as a two number 10s with Cunha maybe operating as the false 9, but not really a false 9 per se. And I see some people speaking and talking about the fact that maybe this United team would actually suit it more is instead of you having two number 10s with one number 9, kind of flip it. Make it so you've got one number 10 and two number 9s and actually play two up top, whether that would be Cunha and Mbeumo. I'm not quite sure. Overall, pretty decent game, I thought. If we can play with that sort of level and intensity in the Premier League week in, week out, we're going to be a completely different outfit this season. And we actually scored 2 goals. And that was the main thing I wanted today. 2 goals, 3 points. Bruno looking good. Cunha, enjoying more of it. Didn't get to see Mbeumo, though. Hope we get to see him in the next game.